Your world just fell apart. The woman you trusted, the one you thought would stand beside you through everything, walked away like your entire life was just a chapter she'd finished reading. Now you're sitting in silence, surrounded by the wreckage of what used to be your world. The photos, the ring, the bed that feels too big, all reminders of a story that ended without warning. You keep asking yourself questions that have no answers. What did I do wrong? When did she stop loving me? How can she move on so easily while I can't even breathe? She looks fine, maybe even happy. She's posting pictures, laughing with friends, starting a new life. And here you are, trying to remember how to live at all. It doesn't feel fair, does it? Because it isn't. But here's what I need you to understand. This pain you're feeling right now, the emptiness, the confusion, the sleepless nights, this isn't the end of your story. It's the demolition before reconstruction. You're not dying, you're being rebuilt. You just don't know it yet. Today, I'm going to walk you through the process, not just how to survive a divorce, but how to rise from it, how to rebuild your identity when the person you built your life around burns it to the ground. You're about to learn that this collapse, as devastating as it feels, is actually the beginning of your rebirth. But before we talk about recovery, we need to talk about what you're doing wrong right now. Because most men in your position make the same fatal mistake. They think understanding her will heal them. It won't. It will destroy you further. Stop chasing clarity from someone who benefits from your confusion. Stop searching for closure from someone who closed their heart months ago. This, right here, is where the healing begins. You're sitting in disbelief, trying to piece together what just happened. Your brain keeps replaying moments, the last argument, the cold distance, the look in her eyes when she said she was done. You think, there must be a reason. Maybe if I just understand why, I can fix it. But that's the first trap. You can't fix something that no longer exists. Right now, you're chasing logic in a situation built on emotion. She's not thinking about what's fair or what's right. She's thinking about freedom. You're grieving, she's relieved. And that's the part that breaks you, the asymmetry. While you're trying to make sense of the pain, she's already rewritten the story in her mind. She's been preparing for this exit for months, maybe years. Her heart left long before her body did. The divorce papers were just the final scene of a movie she already finished watching. You're standing in the ashes while she's walking through the door, smiling, lighter, alive. And that contrast makes you question your entire worth. You think, how can she move on so fast? The answer is simple. She's been gone longer than you think. You're at the start of your grief. She's at the end of hers. This imbalance will drive you insane if you don't understand it. You are experiencing emotional death. She is experiencing emotional liberation. You're trying to save something that, in her mind, already died. You need to stop expecting recognition from her. She will never validate your pain, never apologize, never admit fault. Because doing that would destroy the story she's telling herself, that she's the victim, not the villain, that she escaped, not abandoned. And every time you reach out, every text, every explanation, every please understand, you're not healing. You're feeding her narrative. You're playing the role she's already cast you in, the desperate man who can't let go. It's brutal, but you need to hear it. You can't win this by explaining. You win by disappearing. Here's the part that shatters most men, the realization that she's rewriting history while you're still trying to remember it. You're sitting there thinking about the good moments, the laughter, the plans, the love that once felt unbreakable. But in her story, those moments don't exist anymore. Every memory that was once sacred has been repainted with blame. This is what psychologists call narrative reconstruction. When someone does something that breaks their own moral code, like destroying a family, their mind protects them from guilt. To justify the pain they caused, they have to believe they were escaping, not betraying. So every argument becomes proof of emotional abuse. Every disagreement turns into control. Every boundary you ever set becomes manipulation. She rewrites the past, not because she's evil, but because she has to in order to live with herself. That's why you'll never get the acknowledgement you're hoping for. She's not going to admit she hurt you. She can't, because doing so would collapse the story that keeps her sane. She's convinced herself that she's the hero who finally found the courage to leave. And in that version of events, you have to be the villain. It's hard to accept, but the woman you knew, the one who loved you, doesn't exist anymore. She's been replaced by a version of herself built on self-preservation. She doesn't want truth. She wants justification. The more you try to correct her narrative, the stronger it becomes. Every message you sent trying to explain your side will be twisted into more evidence against you. She'll show it to her friends as proof of your instability. She'll tell people, "See, this is what I dealt with." So stop trying to win a story she's already finished writing. The truth doesn't need her permission to exist. Your silence will expose more than your words ever could. You can't change her memory, but you can control your legacy, and that begins by walking away, quietly, completely, and with dignity. Here's the hardest truth to accept. Your pain has become her proof. Every text you send, every emotional message, every attempt to make her see what she's done only confirms her decision to leave. The more you express your suffering, the more she convinces herself she made the right choice. You think she'll feel guilt if she sees you broken, but in her new story, your pain isn't tragedy, it's evidence. Evidence that you were unstable, evidence that you were too much, evidence that leaving you was an act of self-preservation. I've seen it countless times, men pouring their hearts out in long messages, thinking they're fighting for love. But in her eyes, it's not love, it's obsession. You're giving her what she secretly craves now, validation of her new identity as the survivor. Every tear, every apology, every outburst fuels her narrative. And when you finally explode, the anger, the shouting, the frustration, she wins. Because now you've become exactly what she told everyone you were, the angry ex, the bitter man, the toxic husband. You're giving her the performance she needs to stay the hero of her story. Understand this clearly. She wants you to react. She needs you to look unstable so her friends nod when she tells them, "See, this is why I left." Every provocation, every jab, every post that feels like it's directed at you, it's bait. She's waiting for you to bite. Don't. Your silence terrifies her more than your words ever could. Because silence means she no longer controls your emotions. It means her power is fading. So from now on, every time you feel that urge to text her, to call, to argue, to prove, stop. Take that same energy and redirect it into yourself. Go for a run, lift something heavy, write something real. Because every second you stay silent, you reclaim a piece of yourself she thought she destroyed. Remember this, you don't win by making her understand. You win by becoming someone she'll never understand again. You're not only mourning her, you're mourning yourself. For years, you weren't just a man, you were a husband, the provider, the anchor, the center of a small universe that revolved around us. Now that title is gone, and with it, your sense of meaning. You look in the mirror and see a stranger. The routines that once defined you feel empty. The bed where you slept as a husband now feels like a hotel room. You're not sure how to act, what to do, or even who you are without her reflection beside you. This is what psychologists call identity collapse, when the role you built your worth around dies. It's not just emotional, it's biological. Your brain was wired to her patterns, your hormones synced to her presence. When that bond breaks, your system crashes. You can't sleep, you can't focus, you alternate between panic and numbness. You're not weak, you're detoxing from a relationship that became your drug. But here's the truth that will change everything. The identity that died needed to die. You'd spent years being a supporting character in your own story, shaping yourself to fit her needs, her moods, her validation. You weren't living, you were maintaining.
Now the slate is clean, terrifyingly clean. And while it feels like death, it's actually rebirth. This is your opportunity to rebuild who you are from the ground up, not as someone's husband, but as your own man. So let the old identity burn. Don't try to resurrect it, because the version of you that's rising from these ashes is stronger, freer, and finally real. Healing doesn't start when the pain fades. It starts the moment you stop feeding it. And right now, the things keeping you broken aren't her words. They're your memories. Those old photos you keep scrolling through at night. The voice notes you still haven't deleted. The text threads you reread hoping to find a clue, a sign, a reason. They're not helping you heal. They're keeping you hostage. Every message, every picture, every souvenir is a trigger. Each one reopens a wound your mind is trying to close. You call it nostalgia, but it's emotional self-harm. You're trying to resurrect a ghost that no longer exists.
Here's what you need to understand. The woman you loved is gone. Maybe she changed, maybe she revealed who she always was. Either way, she's not coming back. You're not deleting her, you're deleting the illusion that's been killing you. So do it. Delete the photos, erase the messages, throw away the things that tie you to yesterday. You're not being cold, you're performing psychological surgery, cutting out infection so you can finally heal. And when that voice whispers, "But what if she comes back?" answer it with truth. If she ever returns, it won't be because you clung to the past, it'll be because you built a future worth returning to. This is where the rebirth truly begins, not with forgiveness, not with closure, but with detachment. The moment you stop chasing what broke you, your energy shifts. You stop bleeding for her story and start writing your own. When everything falls apart, survival isn't about how strong you are, it's about how disciplined you can become. Every man who rises from the ashes of divorce learns the same simple truth. Chaos destroys the emotional man, but structure saves him. The first step is silence. Cut off all unnecessary contact. Every word, every message, every late-night text you send her reopens the wound you're trying to close. Her voice is no longer comfort, it's a trigger. You can't heal in the same space that broke you. Detach completely. The second step is separation from her world. Stop seeking validation from people who knew you both. They still see you as half of a broken story, not as a man becoming whole again. You need new people, new spaces, new mirrors, ones that reflect who you are now, not who you were. The third step is rebuilding through small victories. Your body and mind are in shock. You've lost rhythm. So you rebuild it with small wins. Wake up on time, eat clean, go to the gym even when you don't want to. Learn something new, even for 10 minutes a day. Each small action becomes a brick in the foundation of your new identity. The fourth step is routine. You can't think your way out of heartbreak, you must act your way out. Create structure and follow it like a soldier. At first, it will feel robotic. Later, it will feel like peace. And finally, protect your mind. Don't watch her life online. Every time you look, you reopen the wound. Her smiles are not truth, they're theater, a performance meant to convince herself she made the right choice. You're not missing her happiness, you're escaping her illusion. Survival after heartbreak is not about pretending you're fine. It's about choosing order over chaos, silence over reaction, and discipline over despair. Follow this rhythm long enough, and one day you'll wake up realizing you're no longer surviving, you're rebuilding. There comes a moment when the sadness starts to fade, and something darker takes its place: anger. It's sudden, sharp, and volcanic. You'll feel it in your chest, in your jaw, in your fists. You'll hate her for leaving, hate yourself for staying, hate the world for moving on while you can't. This anger is normal. It's not a flaw. It's proof that your soul is still alive.
But anger is a double-edged weapon. Left unchecked, it destroys everything around you. Controlled, it becomes fuel, the kind of energy that rebuilds empires. So use it. Don't waste it in messages or arguments or late-night thoughts that go nowhere. Pour it into motion. Go to the gym and lift until your body remembers what strength feels like. Work until your ambition starts to drown out your pain. Run until your lungs burn more than your memories. Turn rage into creation. Because if you don't, it will consume you. She expects your anger to prove her right, to show the world you're unstable, bitter, dangerous. Don't give her that satisfaction. Your silence will unsettle her more than shouting ever could. When you stop reacting, she loses control over your emotions, and that's when you win. There's something sacred in controlled rage. It becomes focus. It becomes purpose. It's the point where the fire that was meant to destroy you starts to shape you instead. Let the anger burn, but give it direction. Build a better body. Build a stronger mind. Build a future so solid that no one ever has the power to break you again. The day will come when you'll look back at this fire and realize it was never punishment. It was purification.
After the fire comes the silence, a heavy, calm silence that feels strange at first. You're no longer drowning, but you're not free yet either. This is the stage where rebuilding begins, not with noise, but with clarity. At first, you won't recognize yourself. You've spent years defining your worth through someone else's eyes. Now those eyes are gone, and you're left with a question you haven't asked in a long time. Who am I without her? The answer isn't found in words. It's found in action. You rebuild not by thinking, but by doing. You start small, fix your sleep, eat like you care about yourself, get sunlight on your face, train your body until it obeys again. Your habits become your new identity. Every act of discipline becomes a vote for the man you're becoming. You'll notice something powerful happen. Your mind will start to quiet down. The thoughts that used to torment you will lose volume. Because motion kills anxiety. The more you move forward, the less power the past has over you. You stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What can I build from it?" You realize that pain isn't your enemy, stagnation is. Every man who has ever risen from loss did it by turning pain into purpose. This is your second life, and in this one you owe nothing to your past except lessons. No revenge, no proving points, no obsession with her regret. Your only mission now is evolution. You don't need to show the world you've changed. You just need to become so focused, so grounded, so peaceful that your existence itself becomes proof. You're no longer the man who lost everything. You're the man who started from nothing and built himself again. Pain is the most honest teacher you'll ever have. It doesn't flatter you, it doesn't lie, it doesn't care about your comfort. It strips everything away until only the truth remains. Who you are, what you value, and what you were blind to. When you're in love, you build illusions. You tell yourself she'll never leave. You ignore red flags because you believe loyalty will save everything. But pain destroys illusions. It forces you to see clearly, even when you wish you couldn't. Through this fire, you'll learn that attachment isn't love. That being needed isn't the same as being respected. That peace is worth more than passion. And most of all, you'll learn that your happiness can't depend on someone else's consistency. You'll start to see the patterns you missed before, how you gave too much, how you ignored you, and slowly you'll realize that this pain isn't punishment, it's education. Every tear you shed is tuition. Every lonely night is a lecture. You're earning a degree in self-respect and boundaries. Most men try to escape this part. They numb themselves with alcohol, distractions, rebound relationships, anything to avoid the mirror. But if you can face the pain instead of running from it, it transforms you. It sharpens your judgment, strengthens your standards, and deepens. This is how pain turns into wisdom. It teaches you to protect your peace. It teaches you to listen when something feels off. It teaches you that sometimes losing someone is the only way to find yourself. Don't curse the pain, thank it. Because one day, when peace finally returns, you'll look back and realize pain wasn't your enemy, it was your rebirth in disguise. You've walked through fire, and something inside you has changed. You don't chase anymore. You don't explain. You don't beg to be understood. You've learned that silence is power, and peace is wealth. This new version of you doesn't need to prove anything. You faced the worst pain a man can endure, watching everything you built crumble, and you survived. That makes you unshakable. Now your confidence isn't loud, it's quiet, grounded, calm. It doesn't come from validation, it comes from control. You start moving differently. You're not reacting to life anymore, you're directing it. You spend more time in the gym, less time on your phone, more time building, less time reminiscing. You've replaced attachment with ambition, distraction with discipline. And in that process, you've become someone new, someone she wouldn't even recognize. The beauty of heartbreak is that it destroys the version of you that settled for less. The man who needed her approval is gone. The man who lived for someone else's comfort has vanished. What remains is solid, untouchable. Now when people look at you, they'll sense it, a calm strength, the kind that doesn't come from arrogance, but from surviving your own destruction. You don't hate her anymore. You don't love her either. You've reached something higher, indifference. And indifference is freedom. You finally understood the truth. She didn't break you. She revealed you. She didn't end your story. She started your next chapter. This is the man who doesn't chase love. He attracts it. Not because he needs it, but because he's already full. He's not searching for someone to complete him. He's too busy completing his purpose. There comes a time when you stop fighting ghosts. You stop replaying old arguments in your head. You stop checking her profile. Stop wondering who she's with. Stop waiting for an apology that will never come. Not because you stopped caring, but because you finally understand that peace costs more than closure. You realize that revenge, explanations, or validation won't bring healing. They'll only keep you tied to the same fire you already escaped. Peace isn't something you find outside. It's what's left when you stop resisting what's already gone. So you let it all fall away. The need to prove her wrong, the fantasy that she'll regret it one day, the obsession with how unfair it was. You drop it all. And what's left is stillness. Quiet, clean, powerful. That stillness is your freedom. It's not emptiness, it's clarity. It's the space where you finally hear your own thoughts again, feel your own heartbeat, and realize you survived what was supposed to destroy you. Now you start protecting your peace like it's sacred, because it is. You don't argue, you don't explain, you don't engage in anything that threatens your calm. That's not weakness, that's mastery. The men who control their peace control their destiny. You understand now that some endings are gifts wrapped in pain. She didn't free herself from you, she freed you from everything that kept you small. The storm was necessary. It washed away everything false so you could start over, real. And when you finally reach this point, you stop hoping for her to look back, because you're no longer behind her, you're beyond her. One morning you'll wake up and the weight will be gone. No anger, no sadness, just silence, the good kind. You'll make your coffee, look out the window, and realize you survived. Not by luck, but by endurance. You faced heartbreak, identity collapse, loneliness, and rebuilt from nothing. You became your own anchor, your own peace. And in that stillness, you'll understand the truth. She didn't ruin your life, she redirected it. She didn't destroy you, she revealed what was unbreakable inside you. You'll stop waiting for karma, closure, or revenge. You'll stop chasing what left. Because the man who once begged for love now walks with purpose. The world didn't end, it restarted, with you at the center this time. This is your awakening, not as someone's husband, not as someone's loss, but as a man reborn from pain into peace.